The exquisitely carved Yungang Buddha sits in meditative silence as a peaceful smile adorns his lips. More than 1,500 years of historical vicissitudes later, he is still proud of the God's creation. Yungang grottos are located in Datong City, Shanxi Province, China. The grottos are carved along the mountain, stretching for about 1 kilometer from east to west. There are 45 main caves and more than 51,000 stone statues. The highest one is 17 meters high, and the smallest is only a few centimeters. Yungang Grottos, one of the largest ancient grottos in China, were listed in the World Cultural Heritage List in 2001. Yungang Grottos are the first large-scale grottos operated by the royal family in Chinese history. It can be said that Yungang Grottos are the beginning of the Sinicization of grottos art. In 398 AD, the Northern Wei dynasty moved its capital to Pingcheng, which is today's Datong. The Yungang grottos were carved from 460 to 524 AD and can be divided into early, middle, and late stages according to the grotto's shape, content, and style. Yungang grottos hold a vivid record of the history of the development of Buddhist art from India and Central Asia to Chinese Buddhist art and reflect the process of Buddhist statues gradually becoming secular and nationalized in China. The early grotto's construction, caves 16 to 20, was led by the famous monk Tan Yao under the will of Emperor Wencheng of the Northern Wei dynasty, known as the Five Caves of Tan Yao. The central parts of the 5 caves have carvings of huge Buddha statues, symbolizing the 5 emperors of the Northern Wei dynasty. Square forehead, high nose, big earlobe, and shoulders are reflections of the characteristics of early ethnic minorities, which are different from the traditional Indian Buddhist statues. The mid-term grottos date back to when carving was at its peak in the prosperous period of Northern Wei dynasty. The colors and sculpture shapes are neat and gorgeous. The characteristics of this type of carving is quite different from those of early grottos. There are obvious Chinese characteristics to the shape of caves and the content and style of carvings. The proportion of Buddha statues is moderate, and the musicians and dancers manifest a patriotic fervor. At the same time, Chinese palace architecture was also turned into sculptures, which was widely used in the construction of grottos and temples in later generations. After the Northern Wei dynasty moved its capital to Luoyang, the large-scale carving of the grottos stopped, but the art form was taken up by the middle and lower classes. Although the scale was small, the Buddha statues were thin and beautiful, which was the origin of the thin bones and clear images of the grottos in northern China, reflecting the deepening of the Sinicization of Buddhist art. Various styles of Buddhist statues at home and abroad have been unprecedentedly adopted in Yungang grottos. The magnificent and colorful statues in Yungang grottos can be regarded as the first stone carving art in China in the 5th century.